Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the channel where we have a clip that we wanted to analyze regarding Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick, who gets caught in the crossfire of Mrs. Dean, Congressman Dean, regarding the lies and the contradictions that he told regarding his relationship with Epstein. So she holds him to the carpet. She drags his ass. So let's get into it.
Yeah, yeah.
Good afternoon, Secretary Lutnick. Last Tuesday, I had the chance to attend a breakfast for RAIN, the Rape, Abuse, Incest National Network. It was their Congressional Day of Action. Survivors came to me, told me their horrific stories, and the survivors I spoke with had one message. They're seeking accountability and justice. After speaking with the survivors, I again went to the Department of Justice to review the unredacted Epstein files, to seek accountability and justice for the victims, the more than 1,000 victims and survivors. And today, Secretary Lutnick, I have some questions for you about what I saw. Let's start with your relationship with sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. In October, you told the New York Post with colorful narration that the last time you saw Jeffrey Epstein was in 2005 when you took a tour of his house, which happened to be right next door to yours. You claim you and your wife were so grossed out by this disgusting person, you swore you would never go back. But when the Epstein files came out, it turned out that was a lie. You were forced to admit that you had visited Epstein's private island in 2012, 4 years after Epstein pled guilty soliciting a minor for prostitution and was labeled a sex offender. You brought along your wife, your kids, your nannies to the predator's island. Incredibly poor judgment. But that even wasn't the whole truth. It turns out that 5 days after visiting his island, you and Epstein signed a business deal together. As co-investors in a digital advertising company, Adfin, an email showed you stayed in touch with Epstein about this deal as late as 2018. Secretary Lutnick, why did you lie to the New York Post about your relationship with Jeffrey Epstein?
Wow, she comes straight out. That's the moment right there. She didn't ask him about policy. She didn't ask him about tariffs. She didn't ask him about economics. She asked him one simple question. Why did you lie about your relationship with Jeffrey Epstein? And notice what made that hit differently. She laid out the timeline too, so he couldn't deny it. You said 2025, sir. You said you were disgusted, sir. You said you stayed away, sir. But the records say 2012, after the conviction, after everybody knew what kind of a monster Epstein was, you still went and saw him. That's not confusion, that's contradiction. So now the question ain't complicated anymore. It's not layered, it's not political. It's a yes or no. Did you lie or didn't? And this is where it gets serious for Howard Lutnick. I know he's sick right now. I can look at his face and know he's sick. Because once that question is on the table, everything else stops mattering. Don't nothing else matter because I don't know what to say. Because if you lied about that, what else are you not telling the American people?
Oh, I did hear that. Please don't repeat your gracious offer to speak behind closed doors, not under oath, without the ability of this committee to question you. The American people wants to know, why did you lie about your relationship with Epstein?
House Oversight Committee and I have agreed
We are
will
the
spend
appropriate
the time
reclaiming my
together.
time. I do not accept that answer. We've heard that one. We are our own committee. We have our own reason to test your credibility and veracity. Please answer the question. Why did you lie to the Post?
I have voluntarily agreed to spend the time and talk about it.
I reclaim the time. Let the record reflect you're dodging the question. The cover-up continues. You know what? In your conversations with the president, is the president concerned about your continued relationship that you had with Mr. Epstein as recently as 2018?
I'm not going to discuss conversations I have with the president. That is not something I'm going to do.
If you remember in that interview, you said you would never be in the room with him socially, for business, or even philanthropy. President Trump has just fired 3 cabinet secretaries, 3 women, Kristi Noem, Pam Bondi, Lori Chavez-DeRemer. If President Trump has even a shred of concern about accountability for Jeffrey Epstein's enablers, he would fire you too. Beyond AdFin, what other financial ties do you have to Jeffrey Epstein?
As I said, I'm going to answer all these.
Beyond AdFin, what other financial ties? You're the Commerce Secretary. We have a right to ask this question and get it answered.
Again, I'm not going to spend the budget day discussing something. I've set aside time to spend on this topic.
I'm going to switch topics.
There it is. That's not an answer. That's a delay. That's a sidestep. I'll deal with this somewhere else where I'm more comfortable, where it's out of the public eye, so he can probably fix his face to lie. But you deserve to be uncomfortable because you're our Commerce Secretary, Mr. Lutnick. You're our Commerce. You're in a deposition setting. You're in front of elected officials. You're speaking to the American people, whether you like it or not. And when you're asked a direct question about whether you lied, you don't get to say, I'll talk about it later. That's not what we do. That's not what you do. Because here's how that lands to the public. How that comes across to me is, if the answer was clean, you would have given it. If you were clean, you would have gave us a clean answer. If the answer helped you, you would have said it immediately. If the real answer would have helped you, you would have said it immediately. The hesitation is the story. And now the problem gets bigger than just that one moment, right? Because now it looks like you're managing the truth instead of telling it. And if you're managing the truth about something tied to Epstein, that's not just bad optics, that's a credibility crisis. At this point, I can't trust nobody that the president done hired. At this point, we can't. You're not just defending your past, you're putting your current position at risk. These people, I don't know what Trump got on these people to make these people come out here to the American people and lie like rugs. I don't know what he got on these people, but I do know these people are compromised in some way. For you to put your career in jeopardy, to put your credibility on the line, to do all of that for a president, he got to have something on y'all. If it turns out that you misled the public about this, you don't get to sit in that seat. Not as Commerce Secretary, not representing the United States people. No, you don't. You need to answer that question or you get to lose your job. You're supposed to lose your job. I don't understand why these people became fit or people thought they were fit for these jobs when they can't even answer simple, honest questions. If you like my commentary about this, please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next video.